this has been something that has fueled my life a lot, there's no point to it. Like,
right.
what? Like, who cares?
Right.
I've been in awareness hell for a lot of my life, where I have all the things, I know the tools, I've listened to the podcast, I've read the books, I know all these things that I have to do. The only thing I need to be right now is just myself. And it'll either be good enough or I won't.
Yeah, nice big breath. Let it go. You feel that coffee from this morning?
I do. Norm's, I don't even think I've ever been to a Norm's.
Really? I felt like when you said Norm's, I was like, oh, that must be his spot,
No,
you know?
Not at all. I was like, how do I get to a cool, comfortable-ish place in LA?
Yeah.
I knew they didn't have any vegan options. So I was like,
Yeah.
that coffee is crack.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, if I do American drip, I am just like geeked for hours.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it. But they're good.
Nice, man.
America's Diner.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Pancakes too or no pancakes?
No pancakes.
No
Nah,
pancakes.
I'm loyal to the soil. I only do mother's pancakes.
Okay, fair enough. And you got some yesterday? It was your birthday yesterday.
It was.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
32.
32. Feels cool.
Yeah.
If 32 feels like 30 didn't feel like anything. 31 felt like, okay, this shit's not cute anymore. The things that I'm doing and the child, but 32 is like, oh, okay, cool. I feel like I've kind of arrived.
Yeah, I always relate birthdays. Sometimes, like some years, it's like it's my Magic Johnson birthday. It's like that's the year, you know.
Mm-hmm. I was feeling that a lot too. So, yeah, let's see. Chefing up some stuff. Some cool things are in the works. I feel like this is the year where things kind of all the nonsense. Not saying that it won't have its nonsense, but here we got something now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I felt a lot of transitions into my mid-30s. Like I felt like there was a shift happening, and I think that's partially why I wanted to have these conversations is like talking to people like you, and just to learn more about how your process started. You know, obviously, you know, we've talked hoops before, and I'd love to hear more about like how you got started with that and like where that became a foundation for you, or at least a channel for you to like express yourself.
Yeah.
Like when do you remember earliest like playing and just being like that being a place where you could just be yourself or lock in?
It's interesting. I feel like it was a place where I could lock in. I felt like it was never truly a place for me to be myself. And I think like growing up as a kid, and we'll talk about this later with like Hoffman terms, but like I played basketball because I knew that would bring me closer to my dad.
Okay.
I knew that was something that he enjoyed doing. I knew that he liked coaching. I liked playing on that stage. But like, I never really loved it. It was just one of these things to do to like socialize, have fun, have friends. And it was like something I was like naturally good at.
Yeah.
And we could see some progress going, but like hated practices, hated conditioning, didn't really... I still to this life, I don't know any plays. I just go and set screens or be big or whatever, just crash the boards, all that kind of stuff whenever I do play. But it's like, it wasn't a thing that I actually enjoyed. It was just something that I thought I was just pretty solid at. Yeah. Yeah. And it brought me kind of close to my dad until I realized that like that void in me with our relationship, it was never good enough to his standards.
Yeah.
He would like, oh, your patented move is a reverse layup. So I was like, all right, whatever. Right. It's like, and I would get 20-something points a game, but it was just, I'm soft, I'm this, I'm that. So it was never a thing for me to be myself. If anything, it kind of removed me from who I actually was and what I wanted to do. When you played,
he watched most of your games. He was there. He was coaching you from the sideline, or he was coaching you from like the stands where all the fans were like kind of barking at you during the games.
Both, or he wouldn't at all. But no criticism, no anything was bad. Yeah, I'm just like, what did I do wrong? It's a lot worse in my head than what he could ever say. Even if I had a really good game, it was never, this is what you did. Right. That was great. It was, here's what you could have improved on. Right. But as a kid, I loved that. I was used to that. That's what I wanted to do, and it set me up for a lot of different things in my life later on. Yeah.
Do you still feel like you feel that like voice or that feeling like it's not good enough? Like I gotta do more. Cause like we talked about it like offline before, like, you know, the jump ropes and like when you go all in, like, you know, I obviously, you know, Lauren's a mutual friend of ours. Like you both have this like other gear where you go hard. Yeah. Like can you say what was the birthday? There was like a birthday checklist, like a wellness like checklist that you were gonna do.
So yesterday I was like, I woke up And I was just like, damn, I don't want to really like do this today or whatever. But like, how can I make this birthday something where it's like where I have to get something done, and what can I do for myself to like honor this like birthday for me? And also it's like, what else is no one else doing? Right. That's the motivating thing for me. What else is nobody else doing, and how can I do this in a way that seems healthy but also feeds my ego? So I was like, I'm going to do 32 bobs in the pool. So I just got into deep end fitness, and what that is just like hands and feet tied together. I'm in like 12 to 15 feet deep of water. I'm coming up, can't swim. I'm breathing out all the air. I jump down to the bottom, and I push up, pull back up, the bottom, and then just get a gasp of air. And then same thing, just go down. So I was like,
you release the air as you're going down, so you'll drop.
So you drop, yes.
Yeah. So you're losing all the air.
Yeah.
Hit the bottom on a 12-foot pool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then with no hands and feet tied. So I can't kick, I can't do anything, and I'm just like in this zone where it's super uncomfortable, oxygen hungry, all that kind of stuff. So I was like, cool. Did 32 of those. Now I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna do 32,000 skips on jump rope. Like it's just like, why? Like 3,200 would be fine.
Right,
32,000. Yeah. Like there's really no difference, but like I'm like, no, I have to do 32,000 because no one else is doing it. And I have this jump rope group that I have where I have like a group of guys that are all in it, and like we're trying to motivate each other. But like doing something like that is so like demotivating. Whenever I used to see someone like, oh, I'm gonna like run a mile, and like my friend would be like, oh, I just ran 15. It's like, why would I even try? Like I don't want to do that. I want to get there. So I sat with that. I did about 6,000 jumps yesterday, and I could feel like aches in my body. Yeah. And I didn't really sleep that good the night before. And I'm just like, what's the driving motivator behind this?
Right.
Like what is this doing for me? Because I'll get 32 and I'll still feel just as empty as I do right now unless I really check this. Because after I do 32,000, I was going to do 32 minutes in the ice bath. And it's just like, that's like mental illness.
Yeah.
There's nothing good about that. There's nothing rewarding or fulfilling, and I'm not even proving to anybody that like I'm doing anything great. And while I'm jumping, I'm like getting upset, and I'm like thinking of like I have the faces of people in my mind that I'm like gonna talk shit to, and like how they're like not doing anything. It's just like, all right, cool. And I sat with it, and I was like, this isn't coming from a good spot.
Yeah.
This has been something that has fueled my life a lot, where I have to prove to these individuals who aren't even thinking about me, like what I can do.
Right.
And there's no point to it. Like who cares?
Right.
If I do 32,000, 320,000.
Right.
It's just that creates a divide from me and like the people that I actually want to help out and I don't know, not inspire, but like I had a bunch of people like, hey, you inspire me so much. Like, happy birthday. And it's like, that doesn't inspire anybody when they see someone breaking their body down, being psychotic.
Yeah. Do you ever remember a point where you were doing the thing and you're whatever, basketball, jump rope, and it actually did bring you some sort of like happiness or joy? You felt like, all right, this feels in alignment. Like this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now.
This is with everything in life. If I don't have to post about it, it's probably bringing me joy.
Right.
If I am doing something to post about it to get external validation, it's not. Or it'll scratch an itch for a second, but then as soon as the dust settles with that, it's nothing but shame. Because then for me, I'm just like, damn, why am I still, when is enough?
Right.
And a big one with that was like 2 years ago, I was like, I'm going to do an ice bath every single day for 365 days for
Right. Yeah, I remember that. I think that's probably when we connected on Instagram.
And it was fun. Like the first few days when it was about me was cool. Then it became about everybody else. Now it just became this thing to do, and I have to post about it. And it started like super wholesome to then like not wanting to do it instead of listening to my body and like maybe not doing it. And like Lauren was doing the same thing too. And I was like, I gotta beat Lauren. I would even like give her shit. If she like missed a day, I was like, cool, like I got you. It's just like that's not motivating to anybody.
Yeah.
And then on my birthday, I did 45 minutes in the ice bath, and it's just like, why?
Right.
Like I was miserable the rest of the day. I had like an event where people wanted to spend time with me, and I'm like, great. It's not fun.
You're cold still. I'm cold. You're just still, like your body's like shot a little bit.
Everything hurts.
Yeah.
I'm miserable. And it's just like, is this what I'm doing this for? To just have justifiable misery?
Yeah.
And it's just like, if that's the case, then like, why don't I go do that by myself and like isolate and be alone?
Right.
Yeah. So, which is completely opposite of why I do what I do now.
Right.
Yeah.
I see you because I see you have these morning groups where you like take people out into the ocean and you swim with them, and it's like a real communal experience. And like I've seen videos of you getting out of the water, like literally skipping.
Yeah.
You know, happy, smiling, skipping, curly hair bouncing. You're just like at peace. And that to me feels like that's who you are. Like that feels like joyful because you're doing it really for the betterment of that group. And I think there is some inspiration out of that for other people. Like I know I got clients, I got friends, people I work with, they'll send me like the dude, I don't know if he's in Canada, but he's always wearing the Lions. Beanie. He's the dude.
Jordan.
People send me that guy all the time.
Same.
And I'm like, and in my mind, I'm like, he's like Wim, like he's doing, there's more, it's a net positive. Like there's more positive he's putting out there for the world. But there's definitely, it's at a cost. Like there's days undoubtedly that he does not want to be doing that. He wants to, like, he's not feeling well, he didn't sleep well, he's sick, he's under the weather, he ate something that didn't agree with him last night, and he's going out there and he's doing this ice bath, and he's kind of forcing something that maybe he doesn't actually want to do. And I definitely did that. There was a time, and I was getting into ice baths before Instagram was popping. You know, I was doing it in 2016, and I was doing 20 minutes a day in this cold plunge in Miami. There were plenty of days where I didn't want to do it. And I was getting ready to go to Peru to do plant medicine, ayahuasca, and I thought, this will get me ready for that. So I'm going to do this hard thing every day. And I definitely overdid it. And there were days where like I force-fed myself something that I didn't want to eat. And now I definitely, there's times I get in the ice and I feel that resistance. And I would used to push through that. But now I'm like, why, for who? Like, why are you doing this? And I just get out sometimes, you know, and it's a hard thing, you know?
It is. That's the thing that I'm starting to see the shift to with just what I even talk to my clients or bring mindfulness around is like the hard thing sometimes is just to like not do the hard thing.
Right.
Like, Because it's just like, what is driving? I always ask people, well, man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 75 hard. Why? Why are you doing that?
Right.
And because I've seen so many people, like day 76, they completely go back to how things were. And it's just like, how about you just do something that you enjoy doing for yourself. Don't post about it. And then like, if you have to tell anybody, talk to me about it. Like, how can you do that? How can you accept that good within yourself without someone telling you that that experience is worth having? And, oh my God, I could never be able to do that. And like, that used to fuel me. People telling me they can never do that. Cool. Let me show you what else you can't do. Let me go jump rope till my feet bleed. Let me go, do all these crazy things. Like, I don't know, let me go play slam ball. Let me go do all the like wild stuff. And all of that, same thing as like a kid playing for my dad. I'm doing these things for other people. And it's not scratching that itch within me because like, they don't really give a shit. They have their own lives. Yeah.
And I think like we either do the hard thing regularly, we don't do the hard thing, but we kind of beat ourselves up either way. Because I have people I work with and they're like, I see these influencers like the Mark Wahlbergs of the world getting up at 4 a.m. doing the ice bath, and like they're like, that's what I have to do. That's what's going to get me to where I want to be. And then they do that, and most of the time it doesn't actually resonate or doesn't expand who they are or give them that thing that they actually want.
It's not even sustainable.
No.
I've seen so many times where like I've done something and it's cool, it's trendy for a while, and then I dread it. And then I hate it. And then I have one bad instant with it and I blame the whole thing. And I'm like, damn, this thing just doesn't work. It's like, no, I'm trying to be something that I'm not. And the choices that I'm making aren't sustainable to like living any type of normalcy or a content life.
I sometimes think with the ice for me specifically, and I think there's other people, like I when I got certified, it was like 2018. So I have friends that are also, you know, been certified for a while now, and I'm not currently a Wim Hof instructor anymore, but you know, we got in on the ice bath stuff all at the same time, and I don't get the same adrenaline from it, the norepinephrine. I don't get the same dopamine from it, and I definitely saw a plateau with that, and I feel it when I do it. Like this weekend, I was in Tahoe. I was going in that lake every day, doing the sauna, and I felt amazing. It was in community, though. It was with other people.
100%.
We're having a blast together. We're screaming out by the lake. We're literally just feeling like kids, like playing. You know, and it felt really good. And sometimes I describe the ice bath like it's taking medicine. It's prescriptive. It's almost like this regimented thing that doesn't necessarily feel in alignment for our nervous systems because sitting in the ice. I'm looking at a watch. I'm not connected to my breathing. I'm not connected to how it feels. I'm literally trying to hit a number that's supposed to tell me how I'm supposed to feel.
Yep.
And it's not actually getting me to that place anymore. It just doesn't.
Yeah, same. And it's a blessing and a curse. I know people that will keep chasing that thing. Like, I mean, I've been sober for 7 years now, and I remember when that stopped working for me.
Yeah.
And I keep beating it, hoping to just even get like an inkling of it to work again. Same thing happened with me. I remember I used to get these crazy euphoric breath work, like just go places.
Yeah.
Just be like, oh my gosh, like I have arrived. And I don't even get that anymore.
Yeah.
But I get that in meditation when I sit still and just like allow myself to just, I get it when I have the experience for the sake of the experience versus having the experience to get something out of it.
Right.
And that comes in just with presence.
Yeah.
The more present I am, I get that. And it's like, oh, it's not the thing that took me there. It's just me being present with myself. Or I get, like you said, with community. I love my Wednesday mornings because it's with community.
Yeah.
I get the boost and the dopamine and all that kind of stuff. Being in the ocean, swimming around, having a great time, laughing, and just like, that's what I feel like we're here to do. And I can lose sight of that when I'm worried about, I don't know, like tracing macros for my dopamine or something.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally, that makes sense. And so as you went through college ball and then you came out of college ball, when did you start to transition into wellness? Like as like, hey, this might be something I want to pursue as a career, because obviously basketball wasn't feeding you in that way.
Yeah. It was interesting. It wasn't feeding me in that way. I got kicked out of so many different schools. I actually thought basketball was my issue, not the fact that I was drinking and partying all the time. I thought basketball was the reason of like my unhappiness, and if only I could get rid of that. So I got through school. It took me 6 years.
Same.
Yeah, it was cool. I have no idea how like these coaches, I was able to convince them that I was going to do what I said I was going to do. Went to 4 different schools, stayed on a scholarship the entire time. Insane. But when I left, I got a job with a hospice company, and I started working in hospice, and I was the liaison. So I was the middleman between the hospice patient, the family, and the hospice services. So I was 24, and I would talk to them about their advancce directive and get them to sign a do not resuscitate and all this kind of stuff. So I'm having really tough conversations, but it didn't feel heavy. I just felt the connection. I was able to empathize with like take the fear out of hospice. And just like, so when I saw that and I saw the help, the love and care in a situation or with a foundation that, or institution that is so money driven and just kind of like for profit. And I was like, wow, hospice is a very beautiful thing. And this interaction that I'm having with this individual is awesome. Like we're talking about whatever. And I'm seeing that like, I'm able to make a change and help somebody out in a very tough time. So I did that for a couple of years. Wasn't really making that much money. And I also got really burnt out. I had no idea about like protecting my energy, and I would bleed out into them. And then I'd get like an email like so-and-so is actively dying. I'm like, what does that mean? And I would go see them. They're doing the shallow breathing. I'm like, oh my God,
wow.
This is that we're not here for fun.
You were at the facility actually where the hospice was.
Mm-hmm. So we would bring in nurses wherever they're at, whether they're at home or at a boarding care or a facility, wherever they were, we would bring the hospice services to them. And so we would have, I'd have to go out there and just talk and try to get census high. And so the hospice company can make some money. But in between that, I just loved being able to not only be there for the patient, but be there for the family and be that like pillar of like, everything's going to be okay. Right. And we're here. And even though everything's not okay in the moment right now, like, that's all right. Let's talk about it. Let's get the fear out of this. Let's not think about like where the money's going to go, the frustrations. I'm just here to support in any way that I can.
Wow.
So that helped me out a ton. 24, freshly sober, not even realizing I ever wanted to be in like the wellness world. I wasn't making money. Then I got into car sales and I hated that. I sold cars for a bit, and then I got into personal training, and then moved out to the Netherlands during the pandemic and was doing personal training at a tennis club. In the Netherlands for young tennis kids all the way to like older adults, and loved it. And it was just like moving functional fitness and just body weight stuff. But I was like, this is what I like. I know what to do at end of life with hospice.
Right.
How do I just move that energy and like help people just move a muscle, change a thought, and just like feel good about themselves. And then that turned in, and then that only went a deeper level. Then found Wim Hof, and Wim Hof was amazing.
You found that in the Netherlands?
I found that in the Netherlands. Do you remember, what was that app called? It was like the podcast kind of app where there was a room. It was super big during
Clubhouse, I
Clubhouse.
think.
Yeah, Clubhouse. I went on Clubhouse, and it was Bart Pronk and the other Bart would talk and have conversations about Wim and all that. So I was like, I would hop in from time to time and ask him questions about whatever. And then Bart was like, why don't you just come to one of my workshops? So I went to one of Bart Pronk's workshops and loved it. They only spoke Dutch. My Dutch was like not the greatest and still isn't. But
that's wild that you speak Dutch. Even, I mean, that language is like extraterrestrial. That is not from this earth.
It's a very strange language. And I don't speak it at all. I understand bits and pieces of it, and it's cool to like. I went out there. I just wanted to be part of that culture.
Yeah.
Like it's just, and I had some deep respect for that. But when I saw Bart lead that workshop, I was like, I don't know what they're saying, but like it was the language of the heart, and I could see the energy and people shift and. Type A people who were so in their head and like drop into their body. I was like, dude, I love this. I want to do this for my personal training.
Had you
clients.
done the breath work before that event?
Oh, yeah.
Or you've been doing the Wim Hof breathing on your own?
I found out about breath work through my friend Sage. Sage lives down in San Diego, and I was just like going through a sick one. My head was like, I couldn't get it to stop. Things were always rushing and racing, and I was just like, dude, I need it. He's like, well, try breath work. I was like, I don't know what that is. And so he did a Zoom session with me and like showed me. I was like, dude, what is this? I was like, there's nothing going on in my head at all.
What was the breathing? Do you remember?
I think we did a little form of Wim Hof, a little bit of form of box breathing. And it was definitely Wim Hof because I remember the lips tingling. I remember my face. I was like, dude, this is nuts. And
yeah, there's something the first time you do it and you tingle and you're buzzing. You're like, oh, this was what it feels like to be in that meditative zone.
Mm-hmm. And for me, like that was the first thing that I like felt like. At that point, I was probably 2.5 years sober. It was the first thing that felt like drugs.
Right.
And I was like,
totally.
And just the alcoholic mind that I had, I'm like, how do I like do this all the time?
Yeah.
Then I'm like doing this.
Sage up next day, like, dude, can we do that again? Run that back.
I'm like telling all my friends to do it. I'm like, dude, this brought me like mental clarity. Like yesterday, like you have to try it. You have to try it. So shout out to Sage. Yeah, he taught me that, and that was really cool. And I've just like taken it and done more research and just wanted to learn more and more and more. And just then I met Bart, and I remember asking Bart, I was like, dude, I want to do this for my clients.
And was that the first time someone guided you in person?
That was the first time I was guided through a workshop. Yeah, an actual like certified fundamentals workshop.
But the breath work in person.
Breath work in person, possibly. Okay. I want to say no. I don't remember who it would have been from. But it was the first time, definitely not the first time I did breath work in person, but first time being guided in the whole experience. The whole experience.
Ice bath too. You've done that before as well?
I did, but nothing like that.
Right.
I did ice baths in college and hated it and would never do it. I would go in the ocean sometimes, or the IJssel where we were living back in the Netherlands was really cold, so I started doing that. And, so I had some exposure to it and learning how to like just kind of breathe and relax through it. But yeah, this was different. And then I remember I was like, dude, I want to do this for my clients. She's like, why don't you become an instructor? And I was like, I didn't even know I could, or how do I go about that? And should I even do it? Like, I know people that just like kind of teach this. He's like, well, you're a personal trainer, right? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I would never go into a gym without doing my due diligence and having a cert. And hand people weights and say I'm a personal trainer.
Right.
So I was like, okay, cool, whatever, I'll do it. So I did it. Awesome experience going to Poland and being around, like, it's the community. Yeah. It's the community that made the magic happen.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have learned anything going there by myself, or and loved it and started doing the things and all of that. And then that only went a certain deeper layer, and then now I'm doing Hoffman, and that's like the deepest layer that I found. And I love just there's a progression to everything I've done that just has more depth, more connection, more depth, more connection. And the thing that comes with that is just more presence.
Yeah.
Everything that I've done is just, how do I just become more present in here in this moment?
How did Hoffman come to you, or how did you come to Hoffman?
Yeah. So people go to Hoffman when they're in extreme amounts of pain, or going through some tough times or stuck in life or whatever, I was dating a chick that was just like, I'm super grateful for her. This was because I wouldn't
Let me preface this.
I wouldn't be here without her and doing the stuff that I'm doing. It was the most toxic, worst relationship ever. I completely lost myself and all that. It was the complete, without putting labels, like the codependent narcissist or whatever. And I'm just like what can I do to fix this? There was always a problem, and my worth growing up came from there's a problem and we fix it to show my worth.
Always in triage, trying to suture this thing up.
And with this individual, I could not do that with her, whatever it was. And so I had like lost myself, and I got to the point where I could like feel like the light within me, like almost like gone.
Yeah.
And my landlord kept telling me, she's like, you should go to Hoffman. You should go to Hoffman. I was like, I know Wim Hof.
You were living here in California.
I was living in California. I was like, I know Wim Hof. I know Hoffman. Like whatever. Like I don't want to do it. And I just like, you're just so quick to like, I need help now. I don't need this. And so it got to a point where I was in enough pain. I was like, look, I'll do whatever you suggest. Like, you're telling me to do this Hoffman thing. Like, what's the price? Like, whatever. She's like, oh, it's like $5,500, but like, don't worry, I'm scholarshiping you.
Wow.
I was like, whoa, okay. And then she sent me, and like, I got on the call, and they're like, hey, I'm like, this is Marcus. They sent me this mountain of pre-homework, and was asking me all these different questions about my patterns and which parent I learned it from, what's my childhood trauma, what's the current issues I'm having in my life right now. And that homework, even doing that, like cracked me open in a way that I had never felt. It was like deeper than any therapy session. It was just me, my answers, like a mirror looking right back to me. I was like, wow, this is my life right now. And these are the things that I'm struggling with. And these are the things that I want to let go. And they ask a very important, like, what's your vision? If you could have what you want from this experience, what would it be? And I was like, I feel like I'm the meditation breathwork guy that can't sit with himself.
Wow.
And I want to be able to do that. I want to have peace and clarity, and I just want to like for me, I've had moments of like, this is it. I need to check out. I've had some unsuccessful times trying to check out, and it was just like I felt that deeper of like I just don't want to be here anymore. Yeah. And so being able to like see that vision and then talking through them, and they're like, oh, we'll get you in a couple weeks. I was like, oh wow. And then I went up there and had that experience, and it was insane. Hated it. They took my phone. I'm deeply addicted to my phone. And I had to sit there and feel my emotions for the first time. No distractions, no trying to help out other people, nothing. It was just like, this wasn't for anybody else but for me. And even with that, I found ways to try to put it on other people. Like Jill had paid for me. So I was like, I'm not going to leave and go back to the house and quit early. I wanted to leave on day 1. I wanted to leave on day 2. I was the first one to get my phone back at the end of the week. And, but I still, even in that space, learned a lot. And it was the first time I ever got to really see myself and love myself in a capacity that I was able to accept at that time. So, and while I was there, before I left, one of Jill's friends was like, I can see you wanting to be a teacher after this. I was like, oh, okay, whatever that means. I had no idea what the process was. I had no idea what the week and what it entailed. And I went up there, and I was like, how do I do this? And just like with the Wim Hof and just like with everything else, and I like something.
When do you think the shift happened?
Like
from resistant, not wanting to be here, wanting to get out, like was there a moment within that first experience there where you were like, okay, I'm in?
There's a lot of times throughout the week where everyone is going to face those challenges of like the resistance, and then it's a whole behavioral stretch of like, I'm in, I hate this. This sucks. This is amazing. This is the worst week I've ever had in my life. Oh, wait, this is the greatest thing I've ever done in my life. So it was just like these moments of just, you're really just the human condition and like just getting stretched like an accordion the entire time. And right at the end, I was like, I want to do this. Like this, I've never had anything. This is just humanness in its like purest form in the way that we can. Like nothing matters. You go there, you don't tell anybody what you do for work, so that removes the whole what do you do? I love telling people I was a Wim Hof instructor. I'm a holistic health coach. I love that was what I was. Mm-hmm. That was gone. I'm just Marcus, and 39 other people plus the teachers showed me that Marcus was loving, lovable, and lovely as like I am, and I had never felt that before. And so I saw the lights come on in people's eyes. Like, these were 39 strangers on Saturday morning to now, like, I still talk to a lot of them to this day. And we've gone through something together. And at Hoffman, we say, like, I see you and I love you. And it's just like, and it's like really beautiful. But yeah, there was these moments that just like, I want this. And this is the only thing that is like mattered. This is the deepest I've ever felt anything. So then I was talking to some teachers. I had some coaching calls. I was like, I want to do this. And they're like, oh, well, like, we hire every now and then. And so when the opportunity came, I threw my name in the hat, and it was a crazy bunch of interview processes. I think 100 people applied. They want master's preferred, and a lot of students had way more, a lot of applicants had way more accreditation than PhDs and on the board of this, on the board of that. And I'm one of 12 that got picked up. And it's just been doing that process since last January, and it is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Wow.
It is just like, because it has to be for me first, and then it's for the students, and then it's for the connection, and then it's all the things that I feel like my purpose is here to do. But I can only do that if myself is like correct. And I don't know, this last year and a half, I feel like I've grown up several lifetimes. It's been so, I think I know something, and then all of a sudden I find out, oh my God, that's not even close to what it is. That's just another pattern. Or I'm acting like a child here, but like, what's the unexpressed hurt? And then the body keeps the score. I'll have this similar experience, and they talk about transference at the process, which is such a beautiful thing. And I'm experiencing this as like whenever, and you're reminding me of my mom or dad from when I was like a kid at this time, where I didn't get to speak up for myself then. How can I go about that now? And advocate for myself. It's just like, it's powerful stuff. Yeah, it's powerful stuff. So I had to go back and do the process again, because when you're in as a teacher candidate, you have to go back for a second time. And I saw one of the two big things that we talk about there, as well as just like pretty much for everyone in life, is, am I in surrender or am I in submission? If I'm in surrender, I'm just like, all right, cool, like whatever, higher power, whatever, I'm here, I'm present, I'm choosing to be a part of this, and I'm choosing to just like put my hands up and whatever. Submission is I'm dragging my feet the entire time. Right. That whole first week, the first time I went through, I was dragging my feet the entire time, wanting to leave, didn't want to be there.
You're doing it for Jill.
I was doing it for Jill. And how amazing that someone would give me this gift. I have to do it for her. The second time was like, oh shit, I'm doing this for me. And it was harder to do it for me than to do it for someone else. And that just showed me how much more love I had to give myself. And that shift happened right around like day 2. Wow. I knew how to play the game. I've taught the process a couple times. And I was like, I even told my teacher I was going to lie about it. And there's a time where we do this experience, and I was like, I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to say, blah, blah, blah. And I had
prepped. You were like ready to rock.
I was so ready to just like go through the motions and do the thing. And truth is, I wanted my phone back, and I was like, I know I can do this thing, and I can get my phone back, and blah, 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 blah. And we talk about spirit at Hoffman a lot, and like my spirit was just like, nah, we're not doing that. And it was so loud and so apparent. And I got honest with like my teacher, who's my colleague, and I was like, yo, I was about to manipulate this whole thing, and like I can't, and I don't want to do that anymore. He's like, all right, good job. It sounds like you're in surrender. I was like, cool, yeah. I was like, wow. So I'm just learning more about myself a ton. And then as a byproduct, I get to see people and their lights come on and them love themselves, and people that are ready to check out, people that are just like so stuck, people that have like, feel like they're so unlovable, and whatever it is that this thing tells them they have to do this thing to have this life, then they can be happy. And it's just like, no, be yourself. You're loving and so lovable as you are. And sit with it, be present with it, feel it. Here's the tools and the practices that get taught, and just like watching the psychic change happen. It's like, I've never experienced anything like it. And if there's anything deeper than Hoffman, eventually I'll find that.
What do you think it is, like talking about that first time around, what do you think it is about the love and acceptance of strangers that has such a powerful impact on us?
What it is, especially when you go in, when I went in and nobody had knew what I did for work, and I don't know what they do for work. I have no idea. I recognize one guy. I was like, oh, that's an actor. But I'm not trying to play the game to get them to like me. My guard's down. There is no like how I'm not stacking myself up and rating myself versus on what they do. And so in that space, genuine human connection can happen. And they're telling me that like they love me. And we talk about like, if you spot it, you got it. And I'm hearing this like person like, dude, these are the qualities I see in you. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, holy shit, like those are the qualities I see in you. And it's like, if we're seeing it in each other, then I must have that. Right. Like, that's cool. Like this person has nothing to gain by lying to me. And there comes this like trust. There's no bias. There's no anything. There's just like, we're all going through the same stuff while also being just benevolent witnesses to this amazing process. And it was beautiful. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Something that I would not have been able to do with like a group of friends or had to be strangers.
When you come out of something like that, do you, obviously you're in line to become a teacher, an instructor there, a guide. Do you want to tell people about it? Is it one of those things where you like the Wim Hof Method, you come back certified and you want to kind of like shout it from rooftops? Like how much are you projecting it or putting it out on other people, or how much are you really just keeping it for yourself and working on it continually?
I try to keep it for me, mainly because I'm a human being and I have patterns and I don't want to be the spokesperson for anything. I don't want to be the reason why someone could hate me and be like, whatever that guy does, there's probably people that will never get into an ice bath based on how they've like seen me approach ice baths. Right. There's somebody that will never jump rope because of like, or be vegan because of whatever. So I never want to announce, and also I never want to tell anybody what they should do. Mm-hmm. Oh, you should go to Hoffman. And I try to especially now, I try to just talk about my experience in the I language. That way, like, people know that this is my experience and I'm not doing that because it rubs people the wrong way that I've seen. But when I leave a process, either I'm teaching it or if I'm a student there, it just like radiates. Mm-hmm. And people, what's going on? Like what's happening, blah, blah, blah. And then like, you seem different. Or I've had conversations with people that I haven't like talked to in a while and they're like, what's changed within you? And I'm like, I've just been doing this work and blah, blah, blah. And then they see that or this light or whatever. Just like Hoffman teaches me how to be myself. Messy, whatever it is, just be a human being. And that's kind of rare in this world. Yeah. People just being them, not manicured up or whatever. So when people see me moving freely through the world, it'll offend some people that feel like they can't, and it'll intrigue some people that want to be authentically them. And for them that want to do it, like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, like I do this thing. So I send them like a little video and they want to get more information. I probably send 2 to 3 people a week on an email to enrollment to like find out more information about Hoffman. And that's a gift in itself. If something within me is planting seeds for people, like it's cool. And however I can help them do that is just been awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
You still in touch with Jill?
I talk to Jill all the time. I love that. I tried to call her for Mother's Day yesterday. She's busy being a grandma, and I have no idea where out in the world she is right now. But whatever she's doing, she is spreading a lot of love. Yeah, and a lot of light.
She's like an angel. Like we have these guardian angels in our lives that we connect to for some reason or another. Yeah. At these crossroad moments, like that relationship, you're in this rut, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden this person shines light on you in a way that you don't even see or feel. Yeah. When I really let myself feel, like, I get emotional about it because it's just like, she changed the trajectory of my life forever. Yeah. I had just moved back from Europe and I was like, blew everything down to the ground. I was living at my friend's house. They hated me. She let me live with her in this guest house, and not only let me live there, but she let me do workshops on this, like I was on this farm. It made no sense and charging me nothing for rent. She was just like, didn't have to do anything like that. And I remember even asking her, I was like, why are you doing this? She's like, I know that you're going to be in my position one day when you're 60 years old and you'll help out a 30-year-old. That's just kind of figuring this thing out. And I was just like, dude, that relationship, I don't like to say I don't deserve these things, but back then I definitely didn't feel like I deserved a relationship like Jill. But like Jill is like, I would do anything for Jill. Yeah, she is phenomenal. Yeah, love that woman to death. And she went to Hoffman, and somebody helped her get there, I guess.
Yeah, I have no idea what her Hoffman origin story is. I know she went about like 20 years ago, and she has like been in a place financially to where she can send people to Hoffman, and it was cool to hear that, like, she's like, out of all the people I've sent, you're the first teacher.
Wow.
So I was like, that's cool. Yeah. So thanks for taking the chance on me.
How many people applied? You know, have an idea of how many people are trying to get into that program at that level?
I know that 100 people applied, and I know that they do hiring every like 2.5 years.
Okay.
So it's very, and you have to have gone through the process in order to even apply. So it's like a kind of, if you know kind of thing, and they're very diligent in their process. I mean, I have people in my cohort that applied a couple years ago and they didn't get in the last time, but now I feel called to do this work, and they went through the whole interview process again, and they, with the risk of possibly getting dropped again, and whatever they did from that time to this time, they did the work to be in a position to do this. And I think, like, just with my life experiences, I remember going into my final interview of just like, the only thing I need to be right now is just myself. And I'll either be good enough or I won't.
Yeah.
And I don't have to try to impress. I don't need to talk about doing breathwork sessions for whatever. I don't have to talk about climbing a mountain. Like, I don't have to do any of that. I just have to be me. And I did that, and it was good enough to move forward. And I've been trying to build on that ever since.
How is it now, like, sitting in still moments, present moments? Do you feel like you're more present now than you've been before in the past, when you're always distracting or finding ways to kind of get you off path?
Yeah, I have awareness of the distractions now. I think I was moving through life without the awareness that these things were even happening. The patterns are automatic, compulsive, and reactive, and so I'm just moving through the world. I would feel something, I would distract myself. I would feel something, I would go somewhere, or whether it is my phone, whether it's a dating app, whether it's just going on, like, whatever it is, I'm using these things to distract myself and receive external validation that I'm doing so good, which once again stems from basketball with my dad.
Right.
And now I can see that when I feel the discomfort, I just pause. I'm like, what's going on? And I sit with it for a little bit. I get honest with it. I'm a big believer in I'm as sick as my secrets. So whatever is like kind of festering up within me, I need to get it out. And Hoffman talks about, like, awareness isn't just enough. If I'm sitting in just awareness, I've been in awareness hell for a lot of my life.
Right.
Where I have all the things, I know the tools, I've listened to the podcast, I've read the books, I know all these things that I have to do. But okay, cool. Let me understand that I had this conditioning and these patterns from when I was a kid that I learned from childhood that I'm bringing to my adult life. And I used those tactics to survive and thrive and receive love back then, but they're obsolete in my life now. And with that, now I do expression work around it. I get it out of my body. I move. I use my voice. I use intention to get it out. And then I move into compassion and forgiveness. Compassion and forgiveness for myself. Compassion and forgiveness for my parents, because they're guilty, but they're not to blame.
Right.
The reason why I am in this situation is because their parents did it to them. And what a gift it is to now have the awareness to, like, pause for a second and respond rather than react. A lot of my life was just, everything was a reaction.
Yeah.
And reactions still come, but I don't shame myself when they happen. I'm like, I'm human, but how can I respond? And my response time is only getting better and better and better.
How do you use your voice?
I use my voice I can yell. A lot of jump rope sessions I have sometimes, if I'm in the gym by myself, I'll just, like, pause and just, like, let one out.
Wow.
I can use my voice.
Did you feel the anger festering or, like, building up inside you, or?
I just feel something.
Something.
Yeah, I don't even have to name it. I'm just like, this is something that needs to get out.
Yeah.
I can use my voice by writing. I'm putting my voice on pen and paper, and I can use that. Sometimes I'll write, like, a angry letter, or I'll just scribble, get messy with it. Like, I don't have to even have to use words, but what's the intention behind it? And the intention is always like, I need to get this shit out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you find, and I've seen this on my end with my work, it's hard for people to use their voice. Like, I'll have people like, just sigh it out or hum it out. Or even in Tahoe, we had all these people screaming, primal scream before they get into the lake.
Yeah.
And I scream the first time to show them the level that I want.
Yeah.
Like, I want everyone to scream at. And the second, third time, I still have people that aren't willing to go there with their voice.
Yeah. It's the willingness that you said. It's there's patterns that could be. What I've experienced is, and I'm speaking from my own thing, is I wanted to be looked at versus being seen. And that's a form of being seen. That's a form of vulnerability. That's a form of, I could perceive it as weakness, too muchness, whatever it is. I can tag something along to that as like, this isn't good. But when I stop giving a shit and I want to be seen versus being looked at, I'm like, I don't care about my image, I can do that. And I think the container has to be safe for me. I'm not just going to go like, I mean, it's LA. There's people out there screaming right now. They're expressing.
Right. Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't do that. Container has to be safe. I have to kind of like trust, know that I'm whatever, but then just start with like a sigh. And then if I start with a sigh, it turns into like a groan. And then it's just like, what else is under there? And then it can kind of get louder and louder and louder. But like, I feel it fester sometimes, and I have to. If not, it comes out in other weird ways. Yeah. I don't like what it does to the people that are around me when that happens. So got to get it out some way, somehow.
What are other tools like that you found right now that have been really effective for you?
Meditation. Meditation was something I used to only do breath work because I felt like I couldn't meditate. And I was that big, I don't like meditation. I would even say that in my workshops. Too much
stillness?
Yeah. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I didn't want to sit with myself. But if I can have a task that I focus on to then like eventually get the result that I'm looking for with meditation, then like I've achieved whatever. And I remember in my workshops, I'm like, yeah, like breath work is like meditation, but like in meditation, you're like supposed to sit and how you think about nothing and thinking about nothing, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, if I can just sit and pause and be present and just, I do it twice a day now for 15 minutes where I just focus on one word and I observe my judging mind and whatever. And as soon as I observe it, I just bring it back to the present moment. And it's like, okay, cool. Like that's helped me out a ton.
You pick just a random word?
You don't
have to tell me a word, but
I use here or one or God and I learned this through Emily Fletcher's book, Accomplish More, Stress Less, or Stress Less, Accomplish More. And she has this method called the Ziva method. And it's just 15 minutes where you go through all 5 of your senses. What do I feel physically? What do I taste? What do I smell? What do I hear? What do I see? And then just repeat a word over and over. So I can be like, here. Oh, Marcus, remember that? Like your car alarm just went off and blah, 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 blah. And like these things happen and you went to Norm this morning. Okay, here. But then like you have to do that and traffic's going to be crazy. Like, okay, here. And it's just like, I just do that. And eventually like the noise and the chatter kind of whatever. And then I end it with an appreciation and gratitude. What am I appreciating? What do I appreciate about myself? And what am I grateful for in this moment?
Wow.
And that not only brings me energy, or after that, sometimes I'm like, damn, I need to take a nap. And I'll just go take a nap. Doing things like that to get present, to know exactly how I'm feeling and what I need. Hoffman also introduces things called a quad check, and I do those from time to time where I ask my intellect, I ask my emotional self, I ask my body, and I ask my spirit, what do you need? How can I best support you today? And just going through those 4 like aspects of myself and just, all right, my intellect wants to be stimulated today, or like it wants to take a break. My emotional self wants to like dance or like have fun or whatever, hug somebody. My body wants to rest. My body wants to work out. And then my spirit just like wants to respond rather than react and move authentically. So how do I do that and honor that? And just taking a moment to pause and get present. Those things have helped me out a ton. What else helps me out a ton? I don't know. Just the talking to people, having conversations like this. And I feel like this is what matters to me.
Yeah.
And I don't get lost in the day-to-day and the grind and anything that just lets me slow down and pause and be here for a second. Those are the things that help me out. And there's so many different ways to do that.
Is there anything right now that you're, obviously I know you're working with Hoffman, but I know you have these events that you're putting on. I know you're doing Zoom sessions for meditation. Mm-hmm. Like what can you share with anybody that hears this that's looking for something that's tangible that they can actually connect to?
Yeah, absolutely. every day, Monday through Friday, I do meditations at 6 a.m. Pacific time and noon. They're just 15-minute sessions where we get on Zoom, we get present, and we just sit and just be. And it's a good pause in the day. And if like the individual doesn't have the time in the day to do that, I have pre-recorded sessions as well that they can tap into at any time. So
where do they find it?
It's on my Instagram, and I use School. So if you go on my Instagram, Marcus Bradley Wellness. I hope I don't change my name by the time this thing comes out. I change my name all the time.
And also Breathing Vegan
the Breathing Vegan and Kimbo Ice.
Kimbo Ice. License plate says Wim Hof. Yeah. I mean, you got some bangers.
I got a lot of little demons. But yeah, so there's that on my Instagram. First week is free, then people can just kind of come on and do that. And then if you're in the Orange County area or want to come down every Wednesday morning, I have a group called the Coastal Calm Collective. We go down to the ocean. We do a little breath work, a little meditation. We go for a swim. And then what else? I always have just different events popping up, whether it's with Viore or Rogers Garden. I'm always somewhere, always doing something.
You're doing a lot, man.
Yeah.
I'm grateful when we connected and we've had this nice phone conversations on work and putting ourselves out there and just hearing more of your story today was a gift for me, man. You got me choked up talking about jail and hearing about that and just being seen by strangers, you know, and I know how much that's impacted me in my life and my journey. So to be a small part in your journey is a gift for me, man. Really, it's an honor to have this conversation with you. I really appreciate you making the trek down.
Of course.
I'm happy nobody fucked with your Tesla. And I'm happy that, you know, you're shining a light for people out there, not just who you are, which is obviously a big presence that people feel when you walk in a room and just your energy is so positive, but your honesty, like your authenticity is a lot. And I think a lot of people like, you know, like, would you say I want to be seen?
Yeah, I want to be seen versus looked at.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, man.
That's what it is. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure, man.
If you spot it, you got it.
Yeah. That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.